Yo, what's good, YouTube? This is Jake from Ncaa, and make sure you hit that like button. We're back for some more conference play, and this is a tough matchup. Every single season, we end up losing to Louisiana Lafayette. They have Trey Regis at running back, just a lot of guys on the offensive side of the ball, and we know this is going to be a tough game. We always have trouble with them. So here we go. We're not wasting any time hopping into this action. They do start out with the ball with Lewis at quarterback, and he is a scrambler. Levi Lewis, he picks up 9 on that one. Looking at last year, he actually had a pretty good season. Threw for 21 touchdowns and ran for 11. So he is going to be a handful for us. He's a junior redshirt, and he's only 5'11". He's not a tall guy, but he's definitely a mobile quarterback. So now here's Lewis on a third down, throwing over the top to C.J. Bowler. And C.J. Bowler actually torched us last year, had well over 100 yards. And here, right on cue, Trey Regis getting the ball on the counter and gets to the outside for 20 yards. And let's just look at Trey Regis. He's a 4-year starter, went over 1,000 yards the first 3 years, and he's pretty much on track to do that again this season. So here is Lewis coming back, throwing out to Pat Jones on this one on the bubble screen, and that's a 7-yard gain. So here's Lewis from the shotgun, gonna find a wide open Newberry, and Newberry's gonna get taken down by Allen King inside the 5-yard line. So now first and goal. Here's Trey Regis. This time he gets stopped by Kenneth Ruff, as he's had a last couple of games, had pretty good games, as he looks to continue that in this one. So now on a second and goal, sending the blitz this time, and we're going to get to Lewis. And that's actually going to be Micah Went, who is continuing an amazing freshman season at the middle linebacker position, but on a third and goal as well, trying to get the ball to the goal line, and they cannot do it. So the goal line stand does work out for us. So here is Tyron Summers back on offense. He is still the leading vote getter in the Heisman race, and he's looking to continue his big season here. So now handoff up the middle. That's 15 yards, and we get a first down. So now a couple of plays later here on a 3rd and 11, trying to scramble out, but that's not on target, as Angel Gonzalez was the intended target, and we do have to punt the ball away. So 1st and 10. 3.5 minutes left in this first quarter. Here is Lewis scrambling out to the right side, and he's picking up 10 on that scramble. So now Lewis, we got to keep him in the pocket. 1st and 10 once again. Here he is from the shotgun, throwing out to the left side. He's going to be caught by Newberry. So that's another 10 yards, and he's going to almost move the chains on that one. So 2nd and inches. Here is Lewis throwing out to the right side. That's C.J. Bowler, and he's going to break a tackle and get in for the touchdown, 48 yards. And wow, we cannot stop C.J. Bowler. Every year, year in and year out, it's been C.J. Bowler and Trey Regis. We just cannot stop those two, as we're now down 10-0 at home. So here's Louisiana here from the shotgun, 3rd and 13. And once again, we get sacked as they send the pressure, and Curtin fumbles it. And that's a loss of 6 yards, as we have to punt the ball away again. So not the start that we want to this game. But here is Lewis back out on offense. And look, he coughs it up. So then Trey Regis gives a mean stiff arm to Xavier Davis. And wow, they get all of that yardage back, as now they're faced with a 2nd and 10. On a 2nd and 10, throwing a screen pass out. And that's Micah Went there to stop Trey Regis in the backfield. And now they're faced with a 3rd and long. So here's Lewis throwing out to left side, testing Orlando Norman on the outside, who's having a great year once again. And that's a deflection, and we force the punt. So now winding down this first quarter, here is Curtin rolling out to the right side, facing some pressure, throwing across the middle. That's Angel Gonzalez who's going to be there for the catch, and that's a gain of 15 as we make it to the 50-yard line. So here's Tyron Summers getting the handoff up the middle for 8 yards. So now to start this second quarter, 3rd and 2. Nice blocking up front, and look at Tyron Summers puts on a move on the defenders that time and gets into the end zone for the touchdown. That's 43 yards, as he's made a habit of these long runs and these signature run plays. Look at this. I mean, they had no shot on that, as he puts a move on 2 defenders and gets in for the long run, and now it's a 10-7 game. So now 1st and 10 out for Louisiana, handing it off to Trey Regis, but that's Peter Gonzalez sealing the edge on that one, as the Gonzalez brothers are having big years, one on offense, one on defense. So now 3rd and 10. Here's Lewis breaking a tackle in the pocket, but getting it out to CJ Bowler, and he's picking up a 1st down. So wow, we had him in the pocket, couldn't bring him down, and the drive continues. So now 1st and 10 here, throwing the ball across the middle, and that's Joey Rivers on the reception. So now 2nd and 2, thrown out to the right side, and that's Pat Jones, 3-yard gain on that one. So now a couple plays later, 2nd and 10, handing it off to Trey Regis, and we've done a pretty good job of stopping him up to this point, but he breaks a couple tackles and picks up 11 yards on that one. So now 1st and 10. Here's Lewis from under center, throwing out to the left side, trying to get it out to Greco, and he's not going to get enough there for the first. So 3rd and 7. 6 minutes left in the 2nd quarter. Here's Lewis throwing out to the left side. That's going to be tipped by Micah Wentz, who's out there in coverage. And we do actually get them to settle for the long field goal, but that's going to be just short. So they set us up with good field position as we take over at about the 35-yard line. So 6 minutes left in this half. But look at this defense. They are doing a pretty good job keeping Tyron Summers. I mean, he's at about 90 yards rushing. But, I mean, Jimbo Brown hasn't been able to get going at all. But you see Justin Johnson getting the catch that time. 20 yards on that catch as he picks up his 1st catch of the game and a 1st down. So 3rd and 2 a couple plays later. Here's Summers getting up the middle, and he's dragging a defender for another additional few yards on that one. And now we're winding down this clock as we're now inside of 3 minutes. So now here's Mike Harrison on the outside, breaking through a tackle and making his way inside the 5-yard line, 25 yards on a simple curl route on that one. So now inside the 5, here's Jimbo Brown getting the ball. And you know, Jimbo Brown is having a great, I'd say, a bounce back year, because remember last year, he didn't really do too well. I mean, in that backup role, Tyron Summers pretty much got the majority of the carries, and when Jimbo Brown got in, didn't really do anything, but he's having a great year. And speaking of great years, Keir Patterson might be having the best year of anybody. That's his 3rd game in a row with a sack, and we're going into this 3rd down situation, and we do get the stop. So now we have enough time to drive down the field here with 2 timeouts left. Here's Jimbo Brown getting the handoff, and look, he's just not getting going in this game. They have seen when he's in the game, and they know it's going to be a run. So 3rd and 13, throwing out to the left side. That's almost picked off by Jeff Butler on that. So we had to punt the ball away to Louisiana, and they had 20 seconds left, but they have all 3 timeouts, so they can drive this field, get into field goal range. So here's Lewis getting it out to his receiver that time, and that's a gain of 5 only. So 10 seconds left in this half. 3rd and 5, thrown out to the screen, and look at Michael Went. He's there once again for his 2nd deflection of the game, and that is going to do it for the first half as we go up 14-10. So now to start this 2nd half, we do want to establish this run because they haven't been able to stop Tyron Summers. They've had Jimbo Brown's number, but there on that carry, Tyron Summers does go over 100. So here is Curtin from the shotgun. This time the pocket collapses, and if there's one weakness with this team on offense, it's definitely this offensive line. Pressure gets in way too fast. You see it's there once again on that throw, and we try to get it away, and Justin Johnson picks up 13, but that's not enough. But we're feeling greedy here, going forward on a 4th and 4. Once again, the blitz is coming, and wow, we barely get rid of it, and Justin Johnson holds on, and that was a close one as we pick up 15 yards on that catch. So now 1st and 10, getting close to the 50-yard line. Here is Curtin rolling out to the right side. You know he's got speed as he picks up 9 yards on that one. So 3rd and 1. Here is Summers once again. That's a nice block that up the middle by the center that time, and that's a gain of 10. So we pick up the first, get it to about the 25-yard line. A couple plays later on a 3rd down, getting it to Angel Gonzalez, 10 yards across the 20-yard line. So now 1st and 10. Here is Summers getting the carry up the middle, gets hit pretty hard on that one, and he picks up 7 yards. So now 2nd and 3, milking this clock. You see the clock all the way down to 30 seconds left in the 3rd as we've used this pretty much this whole quarter on this possession. Is here's Jimbo Brown finishing it off. So Jimbo Brown's the kind of the goal line guy in this game. He's assumed that role and got in for 2 touchdowns, as now we are into the 4th quarter. As here's Lewis trying to scramble out, but that is Kenneth Ruff, who's actually had, like I said earlier, a couple of string of good games, and maybe we're on to something with Kenneth Ruff, because these formations, we've been trying to move him around to end, just trying to get him different looks, because he is our best defender on the defensive line as far as ratings go, but he just hasn't shown it in production. But he's warming up a little bit, as Kier Patterson is definitely having probably the best year of anybody on this team besides Tyron Summers. So now we do get them to punt the ball away, and we're just going to continue to pound them as Tyron Summers is up to 150 yards on that carry. Jimbo Brown in the game, and look at him, he's getting 10. So this offensive line and this rushing attack is starting to wear them down, as Angel Gonzalez gets 2 yards on that jet sweep. So now 3.5 minutes left. Here is Summers getting a handoff and dragging a few defenders. Don't really see that too much, as he picks up 7. But now on a 4th and inches, we don't decide to kick the field goal, and we run it instead, and there's Tyron Summers. I mean, like I said, we are just mowing them down. They're tired. Tyron Summers got 21 carries. We're not giving him too big of a load. We don't want him to get hurt. But on this play, he does cap off the drive, 10 yards up the middle, as we milk that clock all the way down to 2.5 minutes. But Louisiana does eventually drive down the field. So now on a 1st and 10 inside the 15-yard line, here's Lewis finally unloading and finding Pat Jones in the back of the end zone as tight end for the touchdown, as now they have an onside kick, and this is their last hope. They do have 3 timeouts, but we can milk down this clock with this running attack, and we pick it up. There's Mike Harrison, the sophomore, as we cruise to victory once again at home, and we take care of business as we win this one by 12. And you know, Curtin didn't even have to do anything really. 7 for 11 for 100 yards is all we needed, as Tyron Summers almost hits the 200-yard mark. He gets 2 touchdowns. Jimbo Brown gets 7 carries. He gets 2 touchdowns as well. And wow, this is just an all-around pretty good game. I mean, we stopped Trey Regis. Trey Regis usually just torches us when we play him, and I believe he only had like 20-something yards rushing. He had like 30-some yards rushing, I believe. And this was another great game by this defensive line. I mean, Kenneth Ruff and also Kier Patterson are having themselves a pretty good season. And Michael Went, I mean, having a silently great season as a freshman there in the middle of the field. Only 66 overall for him, but he's showing up week in and week out, as Levi Lewis actually has a pretty good game throwing the ball. But like I said, look at Trey Regis. He only had 27 yards on 4 attempts. I don't know why they did not run the ball with him as much. Maybe they thought they can throw the ball versus our secondary, but it didn't work out for him. We come away with the victory, winning by 12 here at home. So we advance to 3-0 in conference play as we prepare for Appalachian State. So hit subscribe, hit that like button. This Coastal season is coming into the middle of the season, so it's going to be a grind throughout the rest of the season. So stay tuned. Let's get it. Let's go.